10 cents from the brand of French Avenue that are affordable and work great in the fall time. Let's see them. Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys, I hope that all of you are doing well. It's time for your daily dose of some fragrance content, and today I'll be talking about full-time scents from the brand of French Avenue. Now I already did similar videos for the brands of Fragrance World and Paris Corner in the past couple of weeks. I'm going to link those videos in the description of this one. But now it's time, it's the turn of French Avenue. And the first fragrance that I'm going to feature in today's video is part of the Francique line, and it's called 63.55. It has this kind of a strange name. The Francique line, there are two fragrances in this line, and both of them are heavily inspired by scents from BDK perfumes. In the case of Francique 63.55, the inspiration here is Gris Charnel, probably one of the best known fragrances from that original niche brand. Francique 63.55, just like the original fragrance, has a very interesting scent that relies in the opening on some spices. You get an interesting sort of a minty green tea note in here that adds an interesting dimension to the whole scent profile. There's quite a bit of sweetness in here. There's some powderness from a iris note, maybe even a hint of a tobacco note. All around a very nicely done fragrance that's very smooth, feels almost perfectly unisex, and it's very close to the original scent that it's being inspired by. To my nose, this feels slightly sweeter compared to the original scent, offers pretty decent performance and projection, and a very affordable price. So the first fragrance featured in today's video is Francique 63.55. The second fragrance featured in today's video is called Sultry Woods. It comes in this interesting looking bottle, 80 ml bottle size, and this fragrance is heavily inspired by Nishane Shem. And just like the original fragrance, this feels very green, feels very balsamic. It's quite spicy, also quite leathery. Quite an interesting scent that can be a bit challenging for some people, just like the original fragrance is. Has a bit of a mature vibe to it, but the quality here is very nice. It's a very strong fragrance that tends to last for a very long time, also projects quite hardly. It's a little bit more expensive, but it comes very nicely packaged, and again the quality here is very high. Just keep in mind that this can be a bit challenging, has a bit of a mature factor, and I would definitely urge you to try this one before you buy it, but I think this is a fragrance that works really nicely in the cold weather. The next one is again a bit of a challenging scent, and it's called Sultan The Founder, and it comes again in a quite an unique looking bottle that the cap itself looks like a king's crown or something like that. Now this fragrance is heavily inspired by Imperial Valley from Giza. I've never tried the original scent, but I've tried a few of the clones, and at this point I'm pretty familiar with the scent profile that this fragrance is carrying, and it's quite an interesting one, and again quite a bit challenging for some people. It's a very leathery scent that has quite a bit of sweetness, but it also has quite a bit of a fruity, citrusy freshness, and that creates a really interesting combination between all those scents, all those notes. It also has quite a strong agar oud note that feels just a hint animalic in the opening in the first few minutes, but I really like this scent profile. I also own a fragrance from Paris Corner which is called Cahier, and it's very similar to this one, being inspired by the same original fragrance. Both of them, Cahier and Sultan The Founder, offer very good performance, quite a long lasting scent that tends to project quite nicely, and I've been really enjoying the scent profile of Imperial Valley. But again, this is a bit challenging, so definitely try this one before you buy it, but this is yet another fragrance that works really nicely in the cold weather. Enough with the challenging scents. Now let's move on to a few a lot easier to wear fragrances from French Avenue. The first one is part of the Spectre line, and it's called Spectre Ghost, and this is one of the most famous fragrances from the brand of French Avenue. This is a fragrance that received quite a bit of hype some time ago, and for a good reason. This fragrance is heavily inspired by Nishane Ani. It's a very nice fragrance that's basically a vanillic based scent that has some supporting players from some spices, some citruses, and ginger up top that gives it a bit of freshness in the opening, but it's all about the vanillic sweetness with this fragrance, just like it's with the original scent. Quality is quite high, performance is pretty good, it comes really uniquely packaged. Initially when I first saw photos of the bottle design, I wasn't really a huge fan, but once I actually received some of the bottles from the Ghost line, from the Spectre line, nowadays I really appreciate the whole bottle design. It looks really unique. The whole quality here, package-wise, presentation, bottle design, the scent quality, the performance, all around this is a very good quality scent. And it's a perfectly unisex and very easy to wear, unlike some of the others that I already showed you. So the next fragrance featured in today's video is Spectre Ghost. A few more easy to wear fragrances this time from the line of the Raw Blend line. The first one will be the OG Raw Blend that is heavily inspired by Kilian's Angel Share. And to my nose, nowadays this is the best inspiration of Angel Share that you can get. By best I mean the closest to the original scent. Very similar, and unlike some of the other clones on the markets, this fragrance carries a very strong cognac note, just like the original scent has. That note is missing in some of the other famous clones of Angel Share. Raw Blend feels almost spot on, and especially in the air. Apart from the strong cognac note, you get the sweetness, you get the spiciness and the woodiness of the original fragrance. Very nicely done, super similar to the original fragrance. Again, another very high quality scent that has pretty much beastly performance, and it's perfectly unisex, a compliment getter, all around a great, cold weather scent, a great nighttime scent. So the next suggestion is Raw Blend. And the other member of that very same, Raw Blend line is called Raw Blend Nero. Now this is a little bit different. This is close to some of the other fragrances on the market that initially were called Angel Share clones. Just think of fragrances like Latafa Hamra. This is very similar to Latafa Hamra, but in my opinion this has slightly higher quality than the Latafa offering. Super sweet fragrance that's an absolute beast when it comes to performance. Projects very hard, lasts for a very long time, and again, just like the OG Raw Blend, has a very nice quality. Just keep in mind that you need to really like sweet fragrances in order to enjoy Raw Blend Nero. But if you do, then this is a must-try fragrance in my opinion. So the next scent featured in today's video is Raw Blend Nero. Moving on to what's the most recent purchase from the brand of French Avenue in my collection, and that fragrance is called Ighwa, and this one is heavily inspired by YSL Tuxedo. And it's yet another tuxedo inspiration, but this is probably the highest quality tuxedo inspiration that I've tried up to date. Very similar to the original fragrance, having that spices, the patchouli, the rose, the vanillic sweetness, kind of old school feel, kind of barbershopy feel, very masculine fragrance. That's a very easy to wear. Now this, at least since the time I've had this in my collection for about a week, this feels a tiny little bit less spicy compared to the original fragrance, but other than that feels almost spot on, compared to the original scent. It's one of the more expensive offerings from the brand of French Avenue, but you get a very lavish presentation and superb quality. So far, from the first few wearings that I've given this seems to have a really nice quality and quite decent performance. So the next suggestion in today's video is called Ighwa. Moving on to a fragrance that's very heavily inspired by Parfum de Marly's Leighton exclusive, and it's called Mirage Absolute. And I've really been digging this fragrance ever since I got it. Super high quality, very similar to the original fragrance. This can also serve as a replacement or as an alternative to the OG Parfum de Marly's Leighton, but it's closer to the Leighton exclusive flanker. Slightly darker than Leighton itself, slightly more woody, slightly more niche scent compared to the original Leighton. This one has a very strong performance, again carrying a very high quality through the whole presentation and the scent itself, and I've been really enjoying Mirage Absolute, and nowadays this has been probably up to, at this point, to one of the best, if not the best, Leighton exclusive clones that I've tried so far. So the next suggestion is called Mirage Absolute. The next one is one of those fragrances, one of those Middle Eastern fragrances that has really received a lot of hype, and it's called Liquid Brun. Now, to be honest, I'm not yet fully on board on the hype train when it comes to liquid Brun. I've had this for a few weeks now. When I initially tried it, I was very excited, very hyped up to try this one because everybody was raving about it. But my initial impressions of this fragrance were more okayish rather than being very impressed. Initially this felt a little bit harsh, it felt a little bit too spicy, not enough sweetness in here, but a few weeks of wearings and maceration, and this fragrance has started to slowly grow up on me, and nowadays I can tell you that I've started to actually enjoy liquid Brun. I cannot deny the fact that this fragrance has a very good performance. It's not beastly, but it's a strong fragrance that projects nicely. It tends to last for quite a bit of time, and again I think the scent profile has started to change slowly but surely, and moving into the right direction. And nowadays again I've been enjoying this quite a bit more, and now I start to see why a lot of people actually enjoy liquid Brun so much and tend to hype it. And it's a fragrance that works great in the fall time. And the last suggestion, the last fragrance featured in today's video is yet one more of those very hyped up scents from the brand of French Avenue, and it's called Lumier Garcon. And this is the best quality clone of Dolce & Gabbana, the one Luminous Night, that you can currently get. Very similar to the original fragrance with super high quality, carrying this quite Middle Eastern scent profile that relies on a lot of dates sweetness, has some incense in here, quite a bit of spices. A very interesting fragrance. If you have not tried the original, it's very different to pretty much anything else from the one line from Dolce & Gabbana. And Lumiere Garçon actually does a very good job at copying the scent of the original fragrance. Has a very strong performance, super high quality, and all around a very nice offering from the brand of French Avenue. So Lumiere Garçon is my last suggestion in today's video. And so guys, there they are, 10 very good affordable scents from the brand of French Avenue that work absolutely great in the fall time. I hope that you found this video interesting to watch. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me tomorrow for your daily dose of some fragrance content. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.